Wednesday, July the 25th. Dodie and I would like to send out condolences and prayers to all the victims' families and friends of the people that were killed last week in the Branson Ducks episode. And also, a special thanks to all the rescue workers that worked throughout the night, Stone County Sheriff, everybody that was involved trying to save me. I mean, it was a really tragic deal. It's kind of makes you sick to think about it. But anyways, our prayers and condolences go out to all those people. As far as lake level, lake level is about 914 and a half. They actually started pulling quite a bit of water Sunday, and they were running it pretty much 24 hours a day, increasing it throughout the day. One generator in the morning, and up to 2, and then later in the day 3. And it really made the bite good. I mean, for the bigger largemouth, for me up in the river arms. I've been fishing in the river arms for the last 3 days. Some up in James River, some up in Long Creek Arm. Tomorrow I'm going up into the Kings. But it's a completely different deal when they shut the water off, as we found out today. But I'll kind of start out on the main lake and a lot of the stuff that had been going on all summer long, which is the drop shot. A lot of those fish are moving out and suspending over deeper timber out in front of deep docks. There's still some out there off of the long flat gravel points, and it seems like they're on the bottom. Some days they're fairly shallow, 22 feet, and you might find them as deep as 35 or 40. Along with them fish out there, you'll actually run into some white bass every once in a while. And the way I've been catching the white bass is, if I see a group of them down there, is a little white spoon, and it seems on the white bass, little half-ounce spoons, a little bit smaller bait seems to work better. But the Dixie Jet, 5/8 or 3/4 ounce will work, as well as a 3/4 ounce slab spoon. But the half-ounce spoon seems to work best. Now, most of these white bass are kind of in the center of these gravel pockets. A lot of them hadn't been real deep, 18 to 25 feet some days, but they're roaming around all over the place. But you're apt to find them when you're out there looking for Kentuckies. As far as the drop shot baits, a lot of the same old baits, little 4-inch worms, and chompers, brown, purple, lamb. This is I think an Aaron's Magic Robo Worm. And one I've been throwing quite a little bit is a Strike King, a little KVD drop shot worm. It's been working real well. And I like the purples, the plum, and the pink, but the green pumpkin and watermelons will work as well. I've just got a little bit more confidence in these, so these are the colors I tend to stay with. If the fish get real active, you can pick up a spoon, you can catch them on a spoon in them areas. A lot of times you won't see the fish on your electronics until you hook one, then they'll kind of light up on the bottom. But if you can't find them right on the points, just kind of back out. And a lot of the points I'm fishing have got a channel, or even a big flat that's got a channel that comes up against it. If I can't get bit on the flat, I'm just easing out till it drops off and watch and see what depth I see them suspended at. Normally they've been, like say, 22 to 30 foot deep suspended. And that'll change day to day, and it'll change throughout the day. Down lake, the spoon bite is still really good in the docks, in the deeper docks. Several different spoons you can throw. This is like an 1.5 ounce Dixie Jet. It's a little harder to throw and work around it. You won't catch as many fish, but you'll catch some bigger fish on it. You can throw a 5/8 or 3/4 ounce Dixie Jet spoon. And some days these fish are suspended in the stalls. Some days they'll be right on the bottom. And what I'll do is I'll usually start out at the end of the dock, and if it's 50 or 60 foot, I fish the spoon down to about 30, 35 feet. And then when I get into the stalls that's 35 feet or shallower, I'll work the spoon all the way down to the bottom, jerk it several times, and reel it up, make another pitch back in. Also, 3/4 ounce, just a straight slab spoon will work. And you can throw a chrome. I used to throw a chrome and a white. I used to throw a white when it was cloudy, or if the water was off colored. Chrome if the water was clear and high skies. But I find I get just as many bites on the white, so this way here I don't have to worry about which color to throw. I pretty much just throw the white. I might throw a white with a little red on it or a little pink on it as well. There's a good football jig bite as well. You know, when I talk to Main Lake, I'm talking like Shell Knob, Campbell Point, Baxter, Kimberling City, the Dam. To me, all that's kind of fishing the same. Myself, I think the further away I get from the dam, the better I do. I think the White River's been real good. Kimberling City's been a little better, as the Mid-James has as well. And the jig, I'm fishing it around a lot of the same places that you're fishing a drop shot. If you got a couple of people fishing a drop shot and you're getting bit, pick up a jig and throw it in the same area. And a few of the jigs I'm throwing a pig sticker, 5/8 ounce football jig, and a lot of green pumpkins, green pumpkin orange, green pumpkin purple will work as well. Now if I'm around any big rock or brush, I'm throwing the new 5-fish ultimate finesse jig in a 9/16. Now this one here I've got, there's an old school brown with like a pocket craw on it. A pocket chunk, but you can use like a Zoom speed craw or a rage craw from Strike King or twin tail chompers, anything that's got legs. And with the water being warmer, and especially up the river, it seems like I'm using bigger trailers, catching a little bit bigger fish. Now you won't catch as many fish on the jig that like you're going to catch on the drop shot, but you got the chance of catching a bigger fish. Really had a good crankbait bite in the river arms when they were generating water. And like I said earlier, there was no water generating this morning. I don't think, looked like they were going to start it up about 1 o'clock when we got off the water. But yesterday and the day before and the day before that, when there was current going, a lot of the Main Lake points, and you know what I'm kind of looking for is flats that got a channel coming up against them, but flats where I can cast to about 15 foot and I'm setting in 20 to 25, but spending a lot of time on my electronics, and you can actually see the shad and the fish out there. And when you can find them out there about 15 to 18 foot, the crankbait that's been working the best for me is a Strike King 6XD, a chartreuse sexy shad, or just a straight sexy shad. And also there's a green gizzard color that's been working well. And it's, when you get around those fish and get them fired up, I mean it can be back to back to back. You know, I think yesterday the guy that I had myself, we doubled up a couple times and on 4 or 5 consecutive casts. And these are all largemouth. You know, these are 2.5, 3.5 pound fish. No big ones, but a lot bigger than what we're catching on a drop shot. So if you want to do something a little bit different, and you see they got the water going, go up in the river arms, throw a big crankbait or a big worm. And I'll also throw this big worm, not necessarily always up in the river. I throw it around Kimberling, Ants Creek, Baxter area, in the conservation brush piles. I'm rigging it up with a 1/2 ounce tungsten weight, and I'll throw a 9 or 10 inch worm. And I like the same color worms for Texas rigging as I do when I'm drop shotting. You know, plum is real hard to beat, blue flag, like a Zoom old monster or a Mag 2 works good. This is an old Strike King worm. Another worm I'm using is a Zoom Magnum Finesse worm, and I'm fishing this on it's called a pig rig. Pig sticker makes it. It's like a biffle hardhead or wobblehead. I'm fishing it in the brush. The only thing, if you get in the thick brush, you'll find the Texas rig with the bullet weight will come through the brush a lot better than just like football, than the wobblehead, because the wobblehead's got like a football head. It just doesn't come through the brush in a real big rock as well as a Texas rig does, or as good as the 5-fish jig. So you know, there's a lot of different things going on. The water's actually cooled down. I didn't tell you what the water temperature was, but it's cooled down to about 82 degrees or so. Up in the river today it was about 85 degrees when I got off the water, about 11. But it's cooled down 3 or 4 degrees. and the outside temperature has definitely cooled down. It's been a lot more pleasant out there. But it just kind of depends what you want to do. If you want to catch numbers of fish, the best thing to do is stay on the main lake, get out on the points, fish a drop shot or a spoon. There's some big fish to be caught on the main lake. They seem to be around the docks. You can also throw a jig in the same stalls where I was talking about. When you're working a spoon and you get where the stalls are 35 foot or less, if you're not getting bit on a spoon, take a 5/8 or 3/4 ounce jig, throw it in there, feed line out, let it go to the bottom, work it back in real slow. You'd be surprised you'll catch some decent fish like that. So, till next week, good luck, good fishing.